Anne Marie Anderson knew from an early age that her life's work would revolve around sports. Upon graduating from Hofstra University, she worked her way into a job at ESPN and into an Emmy award-winning career. Miss Anderson started as a production assistant and rose to the leading position of bureau producer before making the jump in front of the camera. She earned 3 Emmy Awards during her 23-year run with ESPN, but it's Miss Anderson's versatility that stands out. She's worked as a writer, a studio host, a sideline reporter, and is known as one of the most experienced play-by-play announcers in the country. She currently lends her voice to a number of networks, including CBS College Sports and the Pac-12 Network, calling live events such as volleyball, basketball, soccer, softball, and track and field. Miss Anderson's covered 6 Olympic Games, the NBA playoffs, the Super Bowl, MLB playoffs, golf majors, college football games, even heavyweight title fights. 32 years into her career, Ms. Anderson remains an avid sports fan and participant. She'll play any game that keeps score.
I have 4 older brothers, and so I knew I was always going to be in sports somehow. I never really had a choice as a kid. That's all that was on the television. That's all we played, and I loved it. Out of college, I applied for a 6-month job at ESPN, temporary job, and did not get it. And when I wrote my letter back to them saying, thank you for the interview, because in those days you write the letter back, I said, I understand that you have a lot of people there who have terrific sports knowledge. However, I have television experience. Don't you want to balance that out? I can learn the Mariners bullpen maybe easier than they can learn how to cut a highlight package. And I got the job for 6 months, temporary, and I stayed 23 years. Once I got it, I just didn't let go. I decided I wanted to be in front of the camera. I think I admitted I wanted to be in front of the camera. Before that, I just had trouble really finding my voice and admitting that that's what I wanted to do. And I went to a different division of ESPN and sent in my tape and got a call back from ESPN Maine. And they offered me a sideline reporting job on regional sports television. And my boss in the production side said, well, you can either keep your producing job and keep producing all our major events, or you can take the sideline reporting job for a little bit of money, and that's it, and 8 guaranteed games. And I took the leap and said, okay, I'll take the 8 guaranteed games. And he said, that's crazy. Why would you do that? But I just really felt like I wasn't going to be a great producer anymore if my heart was somewhere else. And so once I told him I would take it, he said, okay, you can still produce during the week, but you can do sidelines on the weekend. And that really taught me something. I wasn't bluffing, but I made a decision that was right for me, and it ended up being right for everybody. I was able to be on air and produce. So when I wanted to have something a little more scheduled, I looked at live events and started out as a volleyball analyst because I played volleyball in college. Quickly decided I needed more work than that, and that if I moved to play-by-play, I could call all different sports and work year round. And so that's what I've been doing since 2003. And each year I add in new sports or new challenges for myself. And so, whether it's water polo or men's basketball or, pro beach volleyball, I keep myself busy all year long. And I really enjoy that part because I get to work with terrific pros in all these sports and learn from them and have them help teach the audience the game and what to look at. And I really think it was my producing experience that allows me to draw on them the way that I do, to be able to coach them the same way when I was a producer, coach the reporters I was working with. And I also coach myself. When I watch it back, I coach myself. We need more women in positions of leadership because while we are able to complete some of the assignments and the tasks and stuff, we're not giving the assignments enough. we're not making the tasks enough. We're not producing the shows. And the other day I worked with a female director. There's not enough female directors in the show who are telling the crew what to do and what shot is going to be done. And so while we have entered a certain level of belonging within corporate world, television, whatever the world is, we need to be the ones doing the hiring and leading. I have a 9-year-old daughter, and the other day I had to go to work, I had to go to practices to prepare for the next day's game. I had nowhere for her to be, so she came with me. And as I was sitting and talking to the coach, I noticed she was taking notes. Afterwards, she came up to my surprise and said, "Coach, I have a question for you." And the coach was kind of stunned, as was I. And she said, "What did your team not do yesterday that you need them to do tomorrow?" The coach answered that: rebound, follow the scouting report, zone defense. And I watched Lena then go and interview athletes there with the coach's permission. I didn't know that she was really seeing what I was doing. I thought she was just coming along because I had no one to help take care of her that day. But I think that's the biggest thing about developing young women and being in the position I'm in now as a leader. The girls are watching, and they're watching you prepare. They're watching you handle rejection. They're watching you respond and be resilient. And you have to be conscious of that at all times. That was a great lesson for me. My advice for young women in whatever career field they're in is don't wait until you think you're 100% qualified for a position, because our counterparts, our male colleagues, don't do that. They apply for the job if they're 60% ready. And there's statistics that have shown that. So apply when you want the job, when you have some qualifications for it. If you don't have them all, you're going to need to go for it, or you're going to get passed up. Sometimes, of course, you'll apply for it and then you won't get it, and they'll come right back at you and say, "Well, you're not qualified." And what do you do with that? If they say you're not qualified, then you say, "Okay, what aspects am I missing that would make me a better candidate for this job?" Once they give that, follow up again. "Okay, I hear you." Repeat it back to them. "How can I get there? Can you help guide me in terms of where I can get that experience? I value the position I'm going after, and I want to be completely prepared for it in whatever way you need me to be." That kind of eagerness resonates with leaders. Maybe they'll walk you through it a little bit. Maybe they won't. Maybe they'll say this is somebody who's receptive, who will do side learning in order to get to the position. You never know. I guess that all boils down to be brave, hear no, think not yet. Sometimes it'll be not yet in this position, and sometimes it will be I need to pivot and find a different position with the same bravery.